Monday, 20th May 2019. Spring had ended and summer had arrived. During this season, the temperature difference between day and night in the Jiangnan region became quite significant. During the day, it was so hot that people wore shorts and still felt like they were melting. At night, however, they had to huddle under their blankets, shivering like winter birds. Jiangnan University Town. At 2:13 p.m., most students were in class. However, Sun Shuhan was alone in his dormitory, having put his computer desk close to his bed so he could watch movies in various comfortable positions. Sun Shuhan wasn't the type to skip classes, it was just that last night, during the first half of the night, the weather was unbearably hot. In his sleep, he had kicked off his blanket with a move he might call twin dragons soaring to the sea, but in the second half of the night the temperature plummeted. Wearing nothing but his underwear, Sun Shuhan was left in a miserable state. In his sleep, he frantically groped around the bed, searching for his blanket, but to no avail. In the end, he could only curl up like a shrimp, shivering under the cold midnight breeze. By the time the sun rose, Sun Shuhan had officially joined the ranks of those suffering from seasonal flu. His roommate had already taken the liberty of skipping class for him that day. After taking some cold medicine, he had slept until now. Although his fever had subsided, his body still felt weak. In this state, there was no way he could attend class. So, he was left alone in his dorm, bored out of his mind, watching movies. On the screen, the movie's progress bar slowly advanced. However, Sun Shuhan hadn't absorbed a single bit of the movie's content. Is the medicine still taking effect? I am so sleepy, he muttered, yawning as his eyelids grew heavy. Ding ding ding. At that moment, the chat software in the lower right corner of his computer screen chimed. It was a notification indicating that someone had added him as a friend or invited him to a group. Who is adding me? Sun Shuhan murmured. He reached out and lightly tapped the touchscreen in the lower right corner, and a notification popped up. Huangshan requests to add you as a friend. Additional message none. Huangshan, who is that? What kind of weird nickname is that? Is it someone from my class? Sun Shuhan wondered. His mind drifted to those few classmates who, despite being in university, were still stuck in their teenage fantasy phase. If it were them, they'd definitely come up with a strange nickname like that. Thinking this, he clicked accept. Immediately after, another system message popped up. Huangshan invites you to join the group Jiuzhou group. Do you accept? Sun Shuhan clicked accept again. Shashan Pressure Da has joined Jiuzhou group. You have joined the group. Say hello to your new group mates. The message was accompanied by a system-generated smiley face. These days, chat tools were becoming more and more user-friendly. After a series of notifications popped up, Sun Shuhan calmly closed the notification and the group chat window. He was feeling drowsy and had no energy to care about what group he had just joined. In any case, his group settings were always set to no message notifications, only show message count. Group chats wouldn't pop up and disturb him. They would only display the number of unread messages. Once he was more awake, he could go back and check the chat history to see what kind of group he had joined. The chat records wouldn't be lost. His eyes grew heavier and heavier. The movie's progress bar continued to advance stubbornly. But Sun Shuhan's consciousness grew increasingly blurry. In the Jiuzhou group, some of the lurkers surfaced after noticing that a new member had joined. North River Scatterer has Huangshan added a new fellow Taoist. It has been over a year since the last new member, right? Another user with the ID Suclans7 quickly replied, a new fellow Taoist. Which region of Huaxia are you from? Which cave are you cultivating in? What is your Taoist title? What level of cultivation have you reached? This series of questions felt a bit off in some way. Almost simultaneously, a user with the ID Saber 3 Waves popped up with a message. New fellow Taoist, what is your gender? Are you a fairy? If so, share your measurements and a photo. Seeing the messages from Suclans7 and Saber 3 Waves, several people in the group twitched their lips. Brother 3 Waves, are you really a goldfish? North River Scatterer sighed. Don't go digging your own grave again. What if Huangshan added another senior expert this time? 3 Waves was a good guy in many ways, loyal, righteous, and always willing to help, which made him quite popular. However, he had a habit of running his mouth and digging his own grave. Unfortunately, his luck was abysmally low. Every time he inadvertently dug his own grave, he always ended up offending some senior expert. These bored seniors, who were always looking for some fun, naturally took great pleasure in tormenting Saber 3 Waves, who was always the first to offer himself up as entertainment. Please, don't mention the words senior expert, I have PTSD from that. Mad Saber 3 Waves sent a row of tears streaming down emojis. 4 years ago, his big mouth had offended a beautiful senior expert and he had suffered greatly for it. That senior expert tormented him for a full year and 4 months. Yes, you heard that right, a full year and 4 months. Just thinking about that inhuman period of his life made his eyes well up with tears. As soon as 3 Waves finished speaking, a series of smirking emojis popped up in the group. Blatant, unapologetic schadenfreude. Out of the 8 members currently online, 6 of them sent a row of smiling faces in unison. You bunch of gloating jerks, I'll remember every single one of you. Don't you let me run into you, or I'll make you taste the power of my 72 pads of the Swift Saber. Mad Saber 3 Waves said bitterly. He was very confident in his saber skills. In a one-on-one fight, none of the 6 who had just laughed at him were a match for him. As soon as Mad Saber 3 Waves finished speaking, another smirking emoji popped up in the group, this time from Suclan's 7th. Then, Suclan's 7th excitedly added, when are we sparring? Clearly, Suclan's 7th wasn't he gloating, he just wanted to find someone to fight. Mad Saber 3 Waves immediately deflated, because he couldn't beat 7th. His cultivation was profound, having reached the late stage of the 5th grade Spirit Emperor realm, just 2 steps away from the 6th grade Spirit Lord. But he still couldn't beat 7th. His 72 pads of the Swift Saber was fast and fierce, and his movement technique was as quick as lightning. But he still couldn't beat 7th. He was known as the Mad Saber, and when he went mad, even he was afraid of himself, but he still couldn't beat 7th. Seeing 3 Waves deflate, the group members sent another round of unrestrained smiling faces. This time, Mad Saber 3 Waves could only respond with a row of ellipses. The group members chatted for a while, but the new member remained silent, which puzzled them. Is the new fellow Daoist not saying anything? North River Scatterer asked. Unfortunately, due to the effects of the cold medicine, Sun Shutang had already drifted back into a half-asleep state. At this point, Suclan's 7th happily sent another message. I took a look. The new fellow Daoist is called Shashan Pressure Da. Has anyone heard of a master with this Daoist title? It sounds like it might belong to a Confucian practitioner. I am really looking forward to it. In recent years, Confucian practitioners have been hiding very deep, and it has been hard to find them. It has been nearly 100 years since I last fought one. Thinking back, Confucian practitioners are even more fun to fight than Buddhist practitioners. Not only are they sharp with their words, but their fists are also tough. And when the fight gets intense, they'll even recite poetry to boost the mood. It has the best. I love fighting them the most. 7th is your only expectation for a new fellow Daoist, whether they're good to fight and whether the fight will be fun. Mad Saber 3 Waves sent a tears streaming down emoji. This was practically bullying, wasn't it? Suclan's 7th seemed a bit embarrassed. North River Scatterer smirked and said, could it be another senior expert who doesn't know how to use chat tools? Hearing this, everyone felt a sense of, right, about 4 years ago, there was a senior expert who had emerged from over 100 years of seclusion. After finally getting on chat software, Huangshan had added them to the group. However, because they didn't know how to type, they never spoke. Then, a certain someone named Mad Saber 3 Waves had happily run his mouth in front of this senior expert, asking for their measurements, photos, and even requesting a voice chat. And then, just a few days later, Mad Saber 3 Waves had met this senior expert in person. It was a beautiful senior expert, as dazzling and radiant as the moon in the night sky. After that, this beautiful senior expert tormented Mad Saber 3 Waves for a full year and 4 months before finally leaving, satisfied. Mad Saber 3 Waves was utterly defeated. Huangshan. At this point, a user with the ID Medicine Master spoke. The message was brief and cryptic, with no context. Fortunately, the group members were used to Medicine Master Esther's communication style. He was asking where the group leader, Huangshan, was. Medicine Master S' brevity wasn't due to any sense of aloofness or arrogance, but because he typed using the hunt and peck method combined with handwriting input, which was painfully slow. When typing longer messages, he often made mistakes, leading to a lot of deleting and rewriting, which was agonizing. As a result, Medicine Master had developed a habit of keeping his messages as short as possible. Over time, this had evolved into his current, extremely concise communication style. He went offline right after adding the new member. I heard his precious demon dog ran away from home again, and Huangshan went after it. Dealing with that demon dog isn't easy, so he is probably busy right now. It is rare for him to even find time to come online and that someone, North River Scatterer replied, Medicine Master. Then we'll have to wait until the new fellow Taoist learns how to use chat tools before we can talk, Su Clan's Seventh lamented. They had all assumed that the new member was also a fellow cultivator, seeing that the new fellow Taoist wasn't responding. The online members, finding no entertainment, gradually went back to lurking. About an hour later, Sun Shuhan woke up slightly. I remember someone added me to a group earlier. Something called Jiuzhou group, right? He muttered to himself, casually opening the chat tool in the lower right corner and pulling up the Jiuzhou group chat window. What kind of group was this? Soon, the chat records from an hour ago appeared before him. Sun Shuhan skimmed through them. Fellow Taoist, cave, cultivation level, and seniors. True Lord, this Lord, chasing a demon dog. All sorts of terms straight out of a fantasy novel. The way the group members chatted was also quite amusing, a mix of ancient and modern language. It felt like modern people trying to communicate in ancient Chinese but failing due to their lack of proficiency, resulting in a very awkward style. PFFT, Sun Shuhan couldn't help but laugh. It seemed like this was a group created by fantasy novel enthusiasts. Wait, no, this definitely wasn't an ordinary fantasy enthusiast group. Everyone in the group had given themselves a Taoist title, referred to their homes as caves, and described the group leader as missing pet dog as a demon dog running away from home. Someone even claimed they hadn't fought a Confucian practitioner in over 100 years, implying they had lived for centuries. Just reading these chat records made him feel second-hand embarrassment. This level of obsession has reached the realm of Chunabu, hasn't it? And it has a very Chinese-style fantasy Chunabu. Sun Shuhan thought to himself. It seemed like this was a gathering place for fantasy Chunabu patients. This was his first impression of the Jiuzhou group and its members. But why had they added him to the group? He checked the profile of the group leader, Huangshan True Lord, and confirmed that he wasn't one of his classmates. He definitely didn't know this person. Was it a mistake?